We now speak to the Democratic Alliance spokesperson, Karabo Khakhau. Karabo, good evening. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. John Steenhuisen became the leader of the party at a time where the leader saw an exodus of a number of senior leaders, particularly black senior leaders at the time, and it was marred around the racial dynamic of the time. John Steenhuisen becoming once again a white leader of the party. It was touted, at least, that it was meant to stabilize the party at the time. John Steenhuisen did stabilize the electoral share of the party, although not the total tally of votes that the party had received. And the party was able to, as he said in his statement, negotiate its way into the national government off of the back of its performance in the 2024 national general elections. One would imagine that that's a leader that, if, as the party claims, was a successful one, that they'd want to give him another term to continue the momentum of that work. Is John Steenhuisen simply just not good enough anymore?
Good evening, Oliver. Good evening to your viewers. Thank you very much for the opportunity to have a chat with you. So look, any leader decides on their own terms when they're done doing that which they wanted to do, that which they set out for themselves to accomplish. And as John rightfully indicated in his press briefing earlier today, is that he feels he has done enough for the organization. And we have to respect that. And ours as the Democratic Alliance is to thank him for the 6 years that he felt he had the energy and the contribution mass that he had to have led us to a point where we're now no longer just an opposition party in parliament, but are also a party of government nationally, with ministers like the one you've just spoke to right now, who are doing really well for the Republic of South Africa. And so we want to say thank you to him for his dedication, for his commitment to the Republic, and we all look forward to his work in cabinet to ensure that all farmers of the Republic enjoy the protection from the foot and mouth disease that he wants to tackle right now, but that we also expand support and success for farmers beyond what is the traditional base of what farmers are in South Africa, which is another core commitment of the Democratic Alliance in office, which we've given that mandate to John. And it's as simple as that.
Yeah. Karabo, John Steenhuisen exits as a senior leader of the party at the end of his term, and of course Congress is in April this year, right around the corner. But he does so with the specter of his personal finances looming large over him, claims of political interference in the management of the fallout between himself and Dion George, and Vali Krokamp subsequently becoming the leader there. And by and large, John Steenhuisen has fallen out of favor with an important base of the Democratic Alliance, and that's its donor base. A donor base that felt like he was a leader that was obsessed with his role in government, and perhaps a leader that did not negotiate hard enough in terms of the National Government of Unity Coalition Agreement, and that on the back of those indices, he had failed. He simply fell out of favor with an important part of the base of the party. The question, though, is, does the party admit that it needs a leader that can get those sort of things right, but is not just favorable amongst the donor base, but also amongst the electoral base of the country? Who is that successor?
See, the charges you're leveling against the leader are ones that are new to my ears, Oliver. Perhaps you should share your sources, because as far as the Democratic Alliance's federal executive is concerned, there's never been a meeting about such allegations that we have a lack of favorability amongst donors and all of those other things. So that's not been our conversation, and which is why we're not at a point where the DA has shown the door to the leader, which is why John still remains the leader even in this conversation between you and I right now. He's just simply announced today that he's handing over the baton in April, where he will not be seeking another term. As far as the Democratic Alliance is concerned, our commitment remains the same, Oliver. Our commitment to the people of the Republic of South Africa is to rescue them. Whether we are in local government, provincial government, or in national government, ours is to have the best representatives available to tangibly change the lives of the people of the Republic, as we are doing with all ministries that we are responsible for.
Just the last one on John Steenhuisen very quickly. Will he remain a deployee of the party to cabinet after April? That is to say, will he remain a minister in cabinet at the behest of the party? And in addition to that, will the new leader of the party that will eventually emerge in April at Congress be seconded, so to speak, to cabinet?
That is something that we're yet to tell. I can't speculate on it right now. You would know that it is the prerogative of any caucus leader to decide as they see fit what the composition of their representatives in that caucus looks like. And so once we have a new leader, if the new leader wants to reorganize what our participation in the GNU looks like, that leader will then obviously then seek the counsel and the mandate of FedEx, and it is only after that conversation that we can have the conversation you want us to have right now.
Okay, so John's job is not
then,
necessarily
things are
guaranteed.
still as they are.
Yeah, so his job's not necessarily guaranteed. And just lastly, Karabo, I want to ask you this question, which is unrelated, but I think an important one to get the view of the party and as well as, I think to an extent, the caucus of the Democratic Alliance in Parliament. And that is Diane Koch-Lebanon will tomorrow appear before the ad hoc committee as a witness, not as a member, as she has been for the most part since the ad hoc committee has been established. And of course, she faces allegations before the committee. Those allegations were meted against her by General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. What is the view of the party in terms of her appearing as a witness despite having been a member?
Look, we remain the party of the rule of law. If Parliament's legal team still remains consistent with the fact that there is no breach legally of a conflict of interest, then as a party of the rule of law, we align ourselves with the legal opinion that says that we don't have a problem there. And equally, as a party of the rule of law, we still support the fact that Ms. Barnett is going to give her submission tomorrow in Parliament in compliance with what Parliament requires, and we'll take it from there.
Has the party asked her to give an explanation to the party around the allegations that were made against her by General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi?
Yes, of course, you as a deployee or a member of a caucus, you submit yourself to a leadership who then evaluates your participation on every and any matter. And so obviously when you are within any committee, you're supposed to give reviews on all matters pertaining to that committee, which includes what life is supposed to be, what life is supposed to look like, the quality of representation there, and the work that is being done.
Karabo, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Karabo Khakhau is the spokesperson of the Democratic Alliance.